Welcome to the studio. You're listening to Willow Waves, a student-produced podcast where kindergarten through 6th graders explore interests, promote solutions to global concerns, and communicate about everything related to our social and emotional learning.
We aim to amplify voices, share knowledge, and encourage conversations. Visit us at willowspringses.fcps.edu to learn more and subscribe.
Join us as we explore our diverse and dynamic world of elementary education.
You may think garbage is just your smelly old food or your napkins you use at the dinner table, but they can actually make energy for your homes.
Garbage is a messy and stinky business, but did you know it is contributing to climate change?
Landfills release an estimated 109.3 million metric tons of carbon dioxide. 11% of global warming is from this.
But we are starting to make landfills that turn garbage into energy.
In India, there is a problem with garbage. Due to their massive population, there is 8 mountains of garbage that cover 300 acres of India. Water surrounds these mounds by the ocean. Guys, where the trash goes into the water. These mounds go as high as 250 feet tall, or 18 stories.
16 million tons of trash makes up the mountain. This place in India has one waste-to-energy facility. But this isn't enough. The trash just keeps accumulating.
Today we are going to interview Don Cammarata. Don works for Covanta, a waste-to-energy facility.
10 miles from our school is the Lorton Landfill. Covanta and the Lorton Landfill work together to make a better environment. And we are going to learn all about this in this episode. Now, on to the podcast.
Hi, I'm Jacob, and I'm with Rowan and Bailey.
Hi, Jacob. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, so can we ask you some questions?
That's amazing.
You can, yes.
Can you briefly describe the process of changing the waste into energy?
Yeah, real quick. What happens is the Fairfax County will bring the waste into us with trucks. And those trucks will be tipped onto our floor and put into a big storage pit. From that pit, a crane, a claw crane, like remember the movie Toy Story? It's got the claw crane. And it's just like that. It's going to grab the trash and place it into the boiler. The boiler will actually, in the boiler, the trash will burn, okay? And the boiler is surrounded with water in tubes. The water boils to make steam. And the steam then turns a turbine.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Are you planning to expand this company?
The company's expanding as opportunities allow. They're currently just finished or in the process of completing a couple plants in the United Kingdom. So the company is expanding.
Wow. And are you finding this plan to be successful?
Yes, we're successful in the most important way, in that we're helping protect the climate. And the way that's done is by taking the trash and turning it into energy. The trash no longer goes to a landfill. Where in a landfill, that trash will generate methane, which is a very, very strong greenhouse gas. It's about 85 times stronger of a greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide. So from that perspective, we are helping reduce changes in climate as a result of human activity. We're also successful in being able to recover a significant amount of metal. About 40,000 tons a year of metals recovered from the facility. And then we're able to generate about 80,000 megawatts of power that goes out onto the grid. This was about 65 to 70,000 homes every year.
That problems have you encountered?
What problems have we encountered?
Yeah.
Um, let's see here. The biggest things that we are concerned about in our industry is the improper disposal of waste. One of the big issues today is the use of lithium batteries. You know what a lithium battery is?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's in all your electronics devices. Well, people tend to throw those out in the garbage, and lithium batteries are a uh, a source of creating fires. And so, what we need to be very careful of is ensuring that any old batteries are taken out of our trash and then recycled properly, so they do not end up at a facility such as Covanta and causing a fire, or going to a recycling center and causing a fire. So it's a very important issue to sort your recycling and trash to keep your lithium batteries out of either stream.
How do you sort the lithium batteries?
Well, what happens is at home, do you recycle at home? You take your metal, your soda cans and paper and separate that from your trash, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
I
Well, the
always
best way, yeah. So the best way to manage your batteries is to hold those separately and then take them to the county for recycling, and they will take those and properly recycle those.
That is great information for us to share with our podcast listeners. Remember to always take your batteries to the recycling center. Do you think all landfill companies will do waste to energy over time?
Well, what Covanta does is completely different than what a landfill operation is like. So Covanta does not operate landfills. But landfills will always be needed for whatever waste we can't reduce, any waste we can't recycle, and any waste we can't process at Covanta. There would be a home for that. But what we really need to do as a society is reduce the amount of waste that we generate. We also need to reduce the amount of waste that goes into a landfill to generate the methane. Landfills in the U.S. in the United States are prevalent, and that means there's a lot of them. But in many locations, such as in the Northeast, where we and in here in Virginia, landfills are starting to fill up, and they are you have to drive further and further away in order to find a landfill to take your waste.
Oh, no.
So landfills are a little bit different than what we do.
Hopefully we can all start working together to create less trash and have a healthier planet.
If every landfill company is doing what you're doing, how much will CO2 decrease?
Okay, so that's a good question. So what we need to do in order to help manage the climate is to reduce greenhouse gases. And CO2, carbon dioxide, is a greenhouse gas. Remember, though, methane is also a greenhouse gas, and it's a very strong greenhouse gas. So what we need to do is we need to work on multiple different strategies to help reduce the CO2. We need to try to reduce the waste we generate. We want to recycle more, okay, and eliminate food and other types of waste going to the landfill. Today, about 250 to 300 million tons of waste here in the United States go into a landfill today. And if they were all processed by a company like Covanta, that would save about 250 million tons a year of greenhouse gases being emitted to the atmosphere. But if we did all three, reduced and recycled and optimized waste to energy, we can probably reduce greenhouse gases by about 700 million tons a year.
That would be
And that's
amazing.
equivalent. Yeah, that's a lot. That's like taking 75% of the cars off the highway nationwide. Okay, so we need to do multiple different things in order to help manage climate.
That's a huge change.
Does the process release any methane or CO2 emissions?
No, the products of combustion is just carbon dioxide. So we do have CO2 emissions from what we do. But remember, we're avoiding taking that trash to a landfill where it's generating methane, which is a very, very strong methane or greenhouse gas. So as a result, greenhouse gas impact of what we do is actually a benefit. Covanta, though, does not generate any methane in its process.
That's amazing.
Okay.
Are you putting more energy than inputting energy?
Yes. So we export to the electrical system about 80 megawatts of power, and we use internally about 10. So we are generating 90, using 10 internally, and exporting 80. Okay. So we are a net exporter of power. Yes.
That's a lot of power.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain the problem with regular landfills?
Well, the biggest issue with a landfill is that it generates methane. And as you put waste in the ground, you cover it over with dirt, there's no oxygen, okay, to help decompose the trash. But so what happens is you have what's called anaerobic decay. So that's decay or decomposition without oxygen. And the product of that is methane. Now, landfills do a good job of trying to recover that methane and use it as fuel. The one here in Lorton does that, but we are finding out that there is a lot of methane that's actually seeping from the landfill itself, and that's a major issue of global warming right now. Methane emissions are the third largest source. I'm sorry, landfills are the third largest source of methane here in the United States. So it's something we need to do to get a control over that.
Yeah, we have to change this.
Yes, we do.
Are other countries around the globe adopting similar techniques to deal with methane?
Yes. In fact, there are more facilities such as the one we have here at Covanta around the world than there are here in the United States. There are, in the last 5 years, outside of the United States, there's been over 100 facilities constructed, whether they be in Europe or in Asia. The reason for this is climate control, in other words, to reduce the methane from landfills, but also because many parts of the world have a very high population and small amounts of land. And so they needed to do something different, not only to help the climate, but to find a place for all their waste. And so across the world, especially in Europe, reducing their waste, recycling their waste, and then recovering the energy value, they do a very good job of, much more so than here in the United States.
Yeah, I hope we can change.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's in many places around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's all the questions we have.
Well, great.
Thank you for letting us.
Thank you for having.
This has been a great interview. It's very nice to meet you.
I learned a lot of information from this.
Enjoy talking to you. Nice meeting you.
I enjoyed talking to you too.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank
All right,
you,
good
Don.
luck. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So remember to reduce, reuse, and recycle.